So one of our primary findings is that trade and finance treaties were found to be consistently effective. The outcomes that we're trying to achieve, improving international trade, and even outcomes that weren't at the core of the treaty's intentions, like improving human rights impacts and improving social conditions, living conditions across different countries, they're consistently achieving what they want to achieve. On the other hand, human rights, environmental treaties, humanitarian treaties, they are not demonstrating the same impacts. And there's a few different reasons why that might be happening. One hypothesis that's been put out there by researchers is something called the paradox of empty promises. And this idea states that some governments may sign on to treaties like the Convention Against Torture, for example, for mostly political reasons. They're seen to sign on, they're more respected in the international sphere. Countries may start to do more trade with them and deal with them in these international forums in a way that they didn't before. But after that initial publicity wears off, after a few years, maybe by the time of treaty ratification within the country, really those effects go away, and some studies actually find that they lead to increased levels of torture. So these unintended harmful impacts are rarely brought up, but they happen far more often than we might think. This is not just a study that says that international law doesn't work, let's not bother. It's incredibly important that we say there's a few promising things that we might start to look into to make treaties effective. And one of those is including an enforcement mechanism. Things like prescribing financial sanctions and expelling countries out of international forums is about as far as international law can go. And many people think that once something is passed into international law, it automatically happens, or there's some kind of enforcement mechanism built in every time. That's not always the case. And we do find that just having a transparency mechanism, a complaint mechanism, that when we make it public, when countries don't live up to their expectations, if we just let people know about it, that doesn't appear to be strong enough. We need something stricter that will have real consequences for countries that sign on to these kinds of international agreements.